Welcome to Lighting for Profits.
All light, all light, all light.
Powered by Emery Allen.
Get rid of your excuses.
Your number one source for all things landscape lighting.
That's where the magic can happen. You can really scale a business.
We really had to show up for each other.
From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing.
You're a scaredy cat salesman, Kurt.
We discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
What do you think a hippo has to do with your business, Ryan?
Usually it's some weird childhood thing. Some bully kicked your butt.
I think the key factor here is trust.
Here is your host, Ryan Lee.
What is up? What is up? Welcome to the number one. It's still the number one landscape lighting show in North Carolina. That's right. It's the number one show in landscape lighting in North Carolina. We've got an amazing show coming up to you for today. We got the one and only Mr. Jimmy Tompkins. It's going to be a good one. Lights for Decorators. And had an opportunity to spend some time with him not too long ago for a training he put on. So we're going to talk about that. But it's going to be an amazing show. If you are looking to start or grow your landscape lighting business, and today, even your holiday lighting business, then you're definitely in the right place. We are here to educate and motivate to help you dominate. So it's going to be an amazing show. So excited to be here. This is honestly one of my favorite times of the week because I get to hang out and nerd out on landscape lighting. And thank you so much for your support. We keep getting more downloads, more subscribers, more people saying good things about the show. And just really, really grateful to be in this, have this opportunity to do this every week. So don't forget, I still am accepting 5-star reviews. So the best place to do that is on Apple or Spotify. I'm not begging, but I kind of am. Just go give me a review. There's no automation that I can just send you and make it easy. So the people who have done it, thank you so much. It's not easy, but if you haven't, then you should feel guilty and go give me a 5-star review. By the way, you guys, I'm hiring. So I'm in growth mode. This year is going to be amazing for Landscape Lighting Secrets. So I'm hiring salespeople. And my ideal candidate for a salesperson, by the way, they do need to have some sales experience. They don't need to have lighting experience. So if it's not you, maybe it's someone you know, right? And it can be, it's definitely a remote position. Send them my way. Just have them email support@ryanleecoaching.com, and we'll interview them and see if they're a good fit. And they can interview us and see if we're a good fit. But honestly, if you're like a business owner and you've been trying this and you realized like years ago that you're not a business owner, but you're really good at sales, I don't want to tell you to like give up on your dreams, but I'm just telling you, like, you might not be an entrepreneur, right? And if you're not an entrepreneur, stop trying to make the square peg fit in the round hole and just come work with me. These salespeople are going to make a ton of money, way more than most business owners are making, because we're going to blow this thing up. So if that's you, hit me up. If it's not you, send the referral. And we pay $1,500 after if you refer someone to us that we hire. So make sure that they mention who referred them, right? The other position I'm hiring for is an event CEO. We are putting on more and more events. We're putting on more next year, and we need someone to help manage all this stuff. It's becoming a little bit overwhelming for me and my team. So we need an event CEO. You have to have, experience planning events. It's a big position. It's part-time. It could definitely develop into full-time. Again, remote, so you don't have to be here in Utah. But we've got these positions open. So, and we're going to keep opening up more and more positions as we grow as well. So if you're interested in working with us here, just email me at support@ryanleecoaching.com. And you don't need lighting experience. A lot of people keep emailing me, asking me that, and you don't need lighting experience. We will train. We will convert you. We will make sure you are just as passionate about as we are about lighting in a short period of time. So, again, in just a couple of minutes, guys, we got Jimmy Tompkins with Lights for Decorators. This is going to be a phenomenal show. He's a total stud. He's not a guy that just sells lights. He's a very successful businessman and also just a cool dude. So stick around, and we're going to pick his brain on some of the things that he's done to get this far in life. And you know what? I got to thank Emery Allen. Hey guys, performance matters. This is a true statement for a lot of things, including the lighting you use. Don't sell yourself short with your customer by using budget level products. Emery Allen is at the top of their game when it comes to performance. Oh, yeah. Take their VA rating, for example, lowest in the industry. What does that mean? Efficiency. With a low volt ampere rating, you're able to drive more bulbs on a circuit with a given transformer rating. With lower quality bulbs and that same transformer, you won't be able to put as many lights on the same circuit. So make the switch today to Emery Allen. It's a great time to do it, and you won't be disappointed. Email tomg@emeryallen.com to get more information. And remember, they do offer discounted contractor pricing, and they're hooking you up for being a Lighting for Profits listener. So just email tomg@emeryallen.com. Mention you heard about him here on Lighting for Profits, and he'll get you hooked up with that discounted contractor pricing and a Lighting for Profits discount. Thank you, Emery Allen. Thank you, Tom, for your support. They've been helping us with a lot of different things. I mean, Tom was at our members only event a couple weeks ago, and he's just a great guy. He drove like 9 hours or maybe 12. I can't remember the number, but it was a long way just to be there, and got us a bunch of swag, got a bunch of other manufacturers involved and stuff. So just a good guy, very unselfish. Okay, so again, Jimmy Tompkins, Lights for Decorators, coming on in just a minute. But before we have him on, I want to share something real quick. Last month in the Facebook groups, someone asked me about, or they didn't ask me, sorry. They just asked a question about how to close a deal. And they said, what's a good response to a homeowner that says your bid is not in his budget at this time? And he said, I spent a lot of time designing a layout for my first big job, and customer replies back on my bid saying it's just not going to work within his budget at this time. Do you just walk away and move on? Or is there anything you would respond with, like reducing quality of fixtures or installing less fixtures, etc.? Any advice will be much appreciated. So here's the thing, guys. This is the problem. If you're not good at closing, if you don't take sales serious, you're going to have problems like this, because it's not this customer. Okay, a lot of people are like, pass, next. Like, no, you have to get serious and solve these issues. If not, you're going to be tempted to do what this guy was tempted to do. He said one of the options is reducing quality of fixtures. Like, what? So because you're going to lower your price, you're going to lower the quality. You're going to lower the experience for your customer. So that's why I raise my price, so that I can increase the quality and increase the experience for my client. And that's what's going to get me more 5-star reviews. That's what's going to get me more repeat business and give me more referrals, right? But with this particular post, it was interesting because he got some good advice and he got some bad advice. But here's some additional details that came out from some follow-up questions. He said that the client needed him out quickly. Okay, he's like, I need you out quickly. I need this done. We're having concrete poured, whatever. The client told him a budget of $4,000 to $5,000, and the job was $6,000. He told the client it was $290 a light. And once I realized I was over his budget, I lowered it, cutting corners to get as close as possible to his budget. What? Like, this is crazy, right? Someone responded, sometimes you have to sacrifice your profit to get a customer. Oh my gosh, you should have seen me. I wish someone was filming me reading this post and these replies and stuff like that. You have to sacrifice your profit to get a customer? What the hell? I mean, it's literally completely effing ridiculous, you know? And I love that Facebook has made the transformation of information and knowledge accessible to everyone. I really do. I think it's awesome. But I don't love that most of what you hear is complete garbage and most of it is theory. Okay. There's a difference between theory and actual experience. And if you can't start your response to a Facebook post or in any response to someone asking for help with the 3 words, or is it 4? 3 words, in my experience, right? Then maybe you shouldn't reply. It gets me fired up because people are learning from people who have ideas and theories. They've never done the thing, right? And when you ask them how it worked out for them or additional questions, they're like, oh, yeah, no, I've never done that. You know, what? You've never done that? Why are you giving advice if you've never done it, right? Or I've seen others do it. I've heard about this. It's like, that's theory. Stop giving theory, right? So if you're going to give theory, at least explain that it might not work or you've never done it, right? That's okay. Like, you could be like, hey, have you thought about this? I've never done this, but this might work. Okay, that's different context, right? But instead of stating it like, this is the thing, this is the way, like, people don't know, and then they just assume you're an authority. You know, It's crazy. It just blows my mind because a lot of what you read online is taught by people who don't really have that relevant experience. So my response to his question was this. I said status. And there's a few problems with the original poster's sales process, right? Which is all good. He said, "Yeah, I'm a newer guy. I'm learning and stuff like that." And so there's no problem with him asking questions and stuff like that. But a couple of problems saw was price wasn't high enough. Okay. Um, he didn't close in person. This is why I'm such a stickler on closing in person, because you can't overcome objections if you're not there. But if he would have presented this in person and then the guy said it's too much money, then he can be like, it's too much money. How much is too much money, right? And you can ask these follow-up questions. And it's way easier to close because you're building on emotion and all these other things, right? He also disclosed price per fixture. He said he told him it's $290 a light. Listen, guys, if you want a price per light, that's fine, but you cannot tell them the price per light. No one wants to buy a light fixture for $290 when it looks like it's a $25 fixture, right? They don't understand that there's wire connections, transformer, overhead, labor, fuel, trucks, all this other stuff, right? They don't understand what it costs to do business. So you can't tell them $290 a light. Like, that's just setting yourself up for failure out of the gate. And then finally, status. His status really wasn't high enough. And so what happened to me is I used to run around doing whatever people wanted. Like if someone was like, "Hey, I need you out like tonight because I got to make this decision," whatever, like I would do that. If they said jump, I said how high. Like I thought that was customer service. And boy, was I wrong. I mean, I was wrong, right? And I learned that once I made myself less available and willing to, or I guess less willing to jump on demand, people started respecting me, right? And that's what this was all about, this status. And they played by my rules, not theirs. So explain your process up front, what you need them to do, and you're going to establish status. And what's cool is these people are not used to this. They're used to dictating and getting their way, whether it's at work, at home, whatever. Their status is very high. And so when you establish your status to be up with theirs or maybe even higher, it's actually a very different feeling for them. And boy, they like it. They like it, right? And things change. And it's counterintuitive. You think, well, I'm going to be customer service oriented. I'm going to do what my customer wants. But honestly, why would you do what they want? They don't know what they want. They don't know what you can do, right? So elevate your status, take control of the situation, explain your rules, your process, and make them fit within that. And that one thing will completely change your process. It will your experience with your clients, and will elevate your status. And you're going to start to see people start respecting you more. And when they respect you more, they start listening to you more, which means they do what you want, which is like sign the check, put your name right here, put the dollar amount, sign a check, because we're getting you on the install schedule, ordering materials. We're going to get this thing done, right? We're going to wrap this deal up. So anyway, it was an interesting experience. Elevate your status. Customer service is not doing everything your customer wants you to do because they don't know what is best. Only you do. So make sure you establish your status by establishing your process, explaining it to them, and tell them what you need them to do. All right, guys. That's all for that. I'm excited now because we get to invite our guest onto the show. Let's get our music going and have them come on. You guys ready? Let me know. Oh, yeah. Oh, welcome to the show, Mr. Jimmy Tompkins.
What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. Thanks for being here, man.
Absolutely. Thank you. I feel like a celebrity. I've seen this for so many years. I'm excited. I'm excited to be the guy on the right-hand side of the screen for once.
That's awesome. Well, I'm really excited about this too because we've had mutual clients for years, and heard your name, heard a lot of good things, but never got the chance to meet you and didn't really know if like, who is this Jimmy Tompkins guy, right? But I was really excited because we got to meet last year and hang out, and then you invited me down to your training center to help teach, and it was awesome. It's just been a thrill getting to know you, see your competitiveness, which I want to talk about, go-karting and the competitive drive you have in business to win, and all the things that you're doing to provide for your family and your customers and your economy that you've created is amazing. So I'm excited to have you on the show.
Yeah, awesome. Appreciate it.
Well, let's talk about, I want to kind of talk about your entrepreneurial journey, because you're not just a guy who sells, holiday lighting, landscape lighting. Like you're, like I said earlier, a really good guy, very successful already. And I know you're like also like down here, like you still have like these huge aspirations, which is why I like to hang around you. But how did you get started as an entrepreneur? What was your first business?
Well, I wanted a car and I needed a vehicle. And I was 15 years old, and my parents basically came to me and said, this is amount that we're going to give you. And honestly, it wasn't going to give me a cool enough car to be able to drive to high school in. So I had to come up with plan B, and had a lawnmower in the garage and a shovel and a truck and a rake and a Black & Decker electric power corded hedge clipper, and decided to become a landscaper. So honestly, it was something that never aspired. There's nothing in the family, and just really had a passion to have a cool car and have a nice vehicle that I could get to and from school on, and not have a real beater. But honestly, that's where it started. And, interesting you led into with what you led into today. And that was just it. That's where my head was. You need me here, I'll be there. You want me there, I'll be there. There was no. It was yes, 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 yes. And quickly started to understand what my definition of customer service and experience was. And, it just kind of grew, took off. I started finding passion in it, started to see lots of challenges and opportunities. And I love challenges. I love opportunities. When it's all fun and all easy, it's not as fun as when you're really kind of pushing the envelope and coming up with creative solutions. But so started a landscape company, had no intention of doing it the rest of my life. Just started to cut some grass, get through high school, played a lot of basketball, and I kind of always thought that was my gig and that's where I was going to be at. But obviously that didn't work out. So did landscaping, and it kind of evolved. Went to school to be an industrial engineer, kept the company throughout.
Wait, so what was
realized I didn't.
Did how much money did you make when you were 15? Were you able to get a car?
I was, yeah. So it actually went great. I was basically at 15, I bought a Ford Ranger pickup truck.
What color was it?
Little Danger Ranger in Navy. It was a 1992 Navy Ford Ranger. I wish I had pictures of that bad boy. But yeah, I bought that and threw everything in the back of the pickup, and then went and bought a Jeep Wrangler. So a brand new Jeep, and I was able to buy that Jeep right when I turned 16. So within a year's time, I was able, brand new. It was, yes.
Yeah, dude.
So my first goal was accomplished as a business owner, even though I didn't consider myself a business owner, when I was 16. And that's when I actually really started to set goals and understand the values of goals, and, go get it. Set them lofty, but attainable. And
it's interesting because
that
concept that you kind of learned yourself, taught yourself. I'm not sure who was involved in all that, but like if people only understood, like you can get whatever you want in life, and you just have to reverse engineer it. So that's what you did. You're like, well, if I want this, like I can take the easy route and my parents can give me this, but what I really want is this. So how many lawns do I have to mow? How many clients do I have to get? Like there's an actual path to get whatever you want. If you want a $42 million yacht, you just might have to mow more lawns, but there is an actual way to get there,
Yep. 100%. And that was exactly it. I tell my kids all the time, love what you do, you will find success in it. If you love trash, one of the wealthiest people in the state of North Carolina is a trash genius, right? So love what you do, and you're going to be passionate about it. You're going to be successful, no doubt. But so then anyways, we went off to school to be an IE, and didn't really enjoy that a whole lot. So kept the company throughout. When I went to college, I actually had 6 employees at the time that were full-time. And then I was a full-time student that missed a lot of school. But I tried it. And then one thing led to the next, and became a landscaper professionally. And never look back. Love every day. Love being outside. Love the people. Love the opportunities. Love the challenges. Love all the widgets that come along with the landscape company, and that evolved into hardscaping and landscape lighting, Christmas lighting. And I've ultimately just kind of learned everything by failure, and put my head down, making sure I don't make that same mistake again. I think is a thing I take out of my history the most, is embrace a mistake, learn from it, move on, and you're going to come out looking pretty good after that.
Yeah, that's great advice. Most of us are afraid to fail, because we don't want to look dumb in front of our friends, our family, or feel bad about ourselves or whatever. And then you see people online and they make you feel like they haven't failed. So that makes it even harder to fail. But I'm kind of the same way. It's like, man, I just want to get it over with. Like it's inevitable. Like I'm going to fail. So it's faster I can get that over with, fail fast, win fast, So it's worked for me every single time. And like sometimes I look back, I'm like, and I don't remember. I'm like, my gosh, I feel like everything always works out for me. And then I realized, well, yeah, but it was after all those failures, then it worked out. But I just did it so much faster than like my friends around me. Like they're just afraid to fail. And I'm like, dude, I'll just jump out in front of it and get it over with.
Yep. I mean, failures. I mean, I win nothing from winning. I learned nothing from winning. I learned everything from losing. Winning's easy. Losing's where you really, rubber meets the road, or whatever you want to say, to really buck up and rise to the occasion. That's the challenges and opportunities I really enjoy working with.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how have you scaled your business? Because you're like, I feel like you have no stress, and I'm sure you do and stuff like that, but you've scaled you're like just way chill. Well, I'm like, how did you scale your business to like, you're not like out of it, like you've started new businesses now.
Sure.
Like, how do you do that?
People. It's all about the people. And it was very difficult. I think the thing that I learned that probably I have to remind myself of daily is nobody's going to do it like the way I do it. Nobody's going to work as hard as I do, and I can't expect them to. They're going to make mistakes. Embrace those mistakes. Don't cut their heads off. Don't scream. Don't yell. Just keep a monotone, and hey, let's coach through it. This is an opportunity. And you have a culture of fear within your company, and people are scared to make that mistake. And when they do, they know, am I going to get fired? What's going to happen to me? But I always say, make a mistake once, learn from it. Make a mistake again, that becomes a bad habit. But the people at the end of the day are the ones that are going to propel you. As people grow, your company grows. You can't grow without people advancing in their positions. So embrace a culture of growth, embrace a culture of training, educating, have good systems, have good processes, have good role clarity, and then just really ultimately encourage, embrace the success, encourage that when the mistakes are made, encourage them to be better. And you got to delegate. You can't do it all yourself. I still try way too much, but surround yourself with really good people. And you said it a minute ago, don't make a square peg fit a round hole. It goes with people. Don't make the job fit the person, make the person fit the job. So when you're talking about trying to hire a salesperson, sales is sales. It doesn't matter what you're selling, it's sales. So just make sure you get the right person for the right opportunity that they can embrace and be comfortable with.
You just said a ton of amazing things, like they were just nonchalant, like, yeah, this is what I did. So I don't want people to take that as like, oh, he was just kind of talking, because that you could rewind what you just said, make a list of all that stuff, and that literally is like all truth. One thing that you said right at the very beginning was don't expect them to work as hard as you and be as good as you and all that stuff, right? And it's very true. Like I used to have that mindset. I'm like, I just like I almost literally, like if you were to like tap into my mind and see what I was thinking, like I was like, why wouldn't they be willing to work till 10 o'clock at night? I'm like, what? They don't own the business. They're not an entrepreneur. They don't think like you, and they have no equity in the company, and they're not dumb enough to work for free like you are, it's crazy that people think like that, but we do. So I don't know. There's a lot that we could go down on all that stuff you said. So if you're listening to this, literally go back and just write down everything Jimmy said, make a list of it, and then don't get overwhelmed, because he said a lot. start with one thing at a time?
I'll say one more thing too that I think's been instrumental, and it's, you know, managers and higher levels, very easy to you know, keep them motivated, right? Whether it's a profit share or something like that, an incentive, a sales bonus, whatever. But I think something that really worked great for us was we had a skills and talents matrix. And basically what it is that, you know, at onboarding, at hiring, you do some orientation or whatever you're going to do to orient your employees. Have a skill and talent matrix, which basically says, okay, here you are today. You're going to start as, you know, a CL1, which is like a, you know, a level, and then show them on paper. These are the skill sets that you have to get to in order to advance. I don't care if you've been here 6 months. I don't care if you've been here a year. If you're doing the same thing you were when you started, don't expect a raise. You know, raises don't go on a watch. Raises are based on what your output and what your abilities are. And we created an internal training program where it basically incentivized, hey, you're here. This is also going to take to get here. And on the top, it actually showed them what the rates per hour were. So it basically gave them a blueprint of, all right, you can come in here making $15 an hour. And by the end of it, you have a roadmap to get you to $24, $26 an hour. And here's the skill you got to get there, or to obtain to get there. And that really motivated people when they were able to go in and have a review and say, okay, here's where you're at. Here's where we got to get. Let's get there in 3 months. Perfect. Get there in 3 months and we'll bump you up the chain. And that really creates a sense of awareness. And it's not just them looking over their shoulder and wanting to grow. And I think that's something that's really big because it creates really good clarity in their eyes of where I got to get to for my next bump.
No, thanks for sharing that. That's huge because one, it shows people that there is a plan, like there is opportunity here. And two, I know when I didn't have anything like that, people were asking me every like 2 months for a raise.
One more dollar.
Yeah. Oh, it's just, you know, we're working these late hours and they got it down. They're pretty good at selling the raise, you know?
Yeah.
But like when you establish the precedents, like they don't even ask because it's like, they know, like, well, once you've done these things, you've shown that you've developed those skills and you're good at these things and you've got your scorecard, then you qualify. Like, so it minimizes those conversations, which as business owners, a lot of times we feel empathy for these guys and guilt. And it's like, okay, just another dollar. And you're thinking $1. Okay, there's $2,000.
Yeah.
You know? So 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. And then you're like, crap, I'm broke. Where's all the money? It's like you gave it all away in raises and they're still doing the same thing. They're not even leveling up. So that's why, you know.
Yep.
That's great stuff. All right. When did you get into, so you're doing like lawns, then you get into more landscaping, hardscaping. Did you have clients asking you about landscape lighting, holiday lighting? Like, how did you get into the lighting side of it?
Yeah, so landscape lighting was just a byproduct of all the hardscaping we were doing. Huge hardscape business, huge hardscape side of the business, outdoor living, pools, fire pits, trail islands, pergolas, pavilions. You know, we were hitting it really, really hard. And obviously lighting, I mean, what's the point of putting all that money in? Because when are people going to use it? Typically in the nights and the weekends. You know, North Carolina's pretty hot. You're not hanging out in these areas in the middle of the summer. And lighting just really took the environment and just cranked up the sexiness of it. You know, I mean, it was just without lighting, it was with lighting, like, oh, this is amazing. And you know, there again, knew nothing about lighting. I knew how to connect wires, had the little slider chart. We were trying to, you know, calibrate how much. That was when, you know, we were all running 20-watt bulbs as a minimum and really having to do a lot of math. So it was a little bit challenging. Screwed that up plenty of times as well. But so we just started making it just an integral part of our projects. And then really it's like, wow, this is really easy. And when LED came on, it's like, you just kind of twist and go. The design obviously was an important part of it, but you know, really just found it to be, people were really scared of it in our area, in our market at the time. And, you know, I think we probably put our first lighting job in back in, I don't know, 2005, 2006, somewhere in there. And wasn't a lot, but then it became a whole nother profit center with us that we actually tied into our irrigation division, which it worked really well. Similar tools, similar mindset, similar skill sets. And, you know, the irrigation guys loved it because they're not dealing red clay trenches and muddy and, you know, going 12 inches down. And, you know, it was just, and to them, it was easy work. And so then it just kind of took off and it just really has become an integral part of every installation. whether it's hardscape, whether it's softscape, whether it's a new design build. It really became a huge, huge profit center for our company. And to be honest, it's one of the most profitable units that we have, dollar for dollar. And your labor burden there is much less compared to some of the other services we provide.
Yeah, it's such an amazing industry. I love it. I'll always love it because it's highly profitable, and then it's so rewarding to, like, it's visually appealing. You know, like you said, like someone spends like a ton of money on a pool and all this other stuff, and it kind of after the first few days, it kind of loses its sexiness a little bit just because you're seeing it with flat light from the sun. But man, when you start grazing the stone and pulling out the textures and the shadows and just all these different things, and then layering the lights with the trees, and like people love it. Like we only did lighting, and we would do such a good job with the lighting. They were asking us, Jimmy, they're like, do you build outdoor kitchens? Do you do pools? And I'm just like, no, why would you even ask that? Like, well, it's just so awesome to work with you guys. And they loved us because they gave us money and they loved us for it. Right. And so they were asking us for more just because it was such an amazing experience. It really is the icing on the cake on any project.
Well, the thing with lighting too, I mean, at the end of the day, all the true lighting professionals of the world that make a career out of lighting, obviously they're really good at what they do and they earn every value of what they're getting paid. But for starters and for guys just getting into the business, any light's better than no light. I think it's very intimidating to start looking at beam spread and your lumen output and all these numbers and these charts and these weird little graphs that I don't think anybody really understands how to read. At least I have no clue what I'm looking at half the time with these things. But at the end of the day, light is light. It's really hard to screw it up. Now you can hone things in and understand your Kelvin temperature and what colors things look better on and stuff. But, for the most part, it's a really easy thing to jump into and just start experimenting with and getting your hands on it. So I think it's become really easy for guys to get in and really work themselves through what looks best or what works. And I think everybody really has their own mindset. There's not really a right or wrong. And that's what I like about it too. Because sometimes I think something, we're going to do it this way and this is how it's going to be done. And a guy will come in with a great idea and you'll go look at it like, dang on, he nailed it. He's right. So it's pretty cool because it's not a perfect science,
Yeah, it is like art.
Yeah, it's art.
Yep.
Yeah. Really.
Well, and if I look back at, I mean, even now I've learned a lot about design over the last 4 years after selling my business. So if I were to go back for jobs 4 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I'm sure I'd be like, what? That looks terrible to me because I know more than I did. But those clients still loved me the same. They still loved to hand me that check and be like, you are amazing. Right. So like you said, there's a certain element of like, don't be afraid, just get started. Yeah. And your first clients, they don't have to know that you don't know. Right. Like you said, just you get some light on the trees, it's going to look amazing. You're probably not going to win a design award, but you don't have to win a design award. Just make your clients happy. Yep, exactly. So, and then you get into landscape lighting. How'd you get into holiday lighting?
So that was a crazy one. So we were, at the time we had about 20 to 30 employees. And, honestly, that was back in the day where employee was employee. They showed up, you hired them, they do all this E-Verify and all that hoopla that we get to deal with now. And if you didn't provide the 40 hours a week from November through March, they were going to go find another job. And I was really upset with losing some really key people that were really good at what they did, but I just didn't have the work to justify keeping them on 12 months out of the year. And got online one day, and because snow is very unreliable here, and just started poking around to see, like, what can we do? What can we add to our business? And I saw out in Texas and California, Christmas lighting service. And I'm like, what in the world? People pay you to put Christmas lights on your house? That's stupid. Kept looking, came back to it, and talked to my parents at the time. I was actually still in college at the time. And I said, I think I want to join this franchise thing, distribution thing. We had to pay in. It was like 20 grand. You got a trailer and a bunch of sample lights. And at the time, I was an exorbitant amount of money. But I'm getting a trailer. What can go wrong? It's a Wells Cargo trailer. I'm winning with this thing. And hook up with them and jumped into it, and I really did it with the intention of not making money with it. My way of making money was employee retaining. So I did it to break even my first several years. I was just trying to break even to keep my people, because if I could keep my people, that was costing, saving us. I mean, 10 to 12 guys we were having to rehire, the training, the hiring, the firing. It was a disaster. And then, just kind of kept tracking. And we were the first ones in the Raleigh market to ever do it professionally. And then all of a sudden it just started taking off. And then next thing you know, we were picking up clients in neighborhoods that were gorgeous, and they got to know us. They got to know how we did business. We're like, man, these are good people. Like, they do what they say what they do, they follow through. Are you interested in doing our landscaping as well? And then we were able to pick off all these really, what I would call and consider still to this day, very high-end clients. And then we got their landscape maintenance, and then we got their neighbor's landscape. And then it just kind of dominoed. And I really attribute a lot of our success to the Christmas lights, because that got our foot in the door with a lot of people we had no business dealing with. And it really, really opened up opportunities that I really don't know if we've ever been able to done on our own, at least at the rate we did. Because once you're into that kind of group of people, you get tossed around the party names and who does this and the keeping up with the Joneses. And, honestly, after that, the rest was history. And, it then became a profit center, and it was actually one of the highest margin dollar for dollar services we did every single year.
That's awesome.
And that's when the antennas started going off, and like, this is a lot bigger than a side hustle or a side gig. And I got to meet some great people in the industry, people this day that are still talk to them almost on a daily basis. And, I've been able to watch their success and follow their success, and partner with them and work with them to really, take what we've learned and all the struggles that we made, and now be able to turn around and help coach and mentor these people to be successful and not make the same mistakes I have.
This is so cool, because, it's not like you were born thinking, okay, well, I'm gonna start a landscaping business that's gonna then do landscape lighting and then do holiday lighting, and then I'm gonna, like, none of us ever really have that clear of a vision. It's like, you just got to take action, and you're this like perfect example of it. Like, you don't have to know how. You can set these amazing big goals and not even know how you're going to get there, and that's actually the way to do it. Like, if you would have, set a small goal, like, you already had your goal with landscaping. You didn't even need to do lighting or holiday lighting, all this stuff. And so you get into holiday lighting as like just a break even, like, you're going to make money because now you don't have to recruit, train, all that. But man, now it's become this amazing profit center for you. It's awesome to see that it helped your existing business, all these side benefits besides the profitability out of the gate,
Yep, exactly.
That's so.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride. I think when the opportunity presents itself, and you got to be a risk taker to an extent. And I think if you look back, my parents, when I did that, when I bought my first snowplow, they're like, "What are you thinking? You're North Carolina, you're buying a snowplow?" Yeah, of course I am. I don't think the thing touched snow for 3 years. All I did was use it as a bulldozer to move dirt for the first 3 years. But you know what? You gotta kind of roll with it and learn it from it. And but I think if you're committed to something and you give it all your passion, you're going to be successful. Could take some time, but stick with it. And I think you get paid out in dividends big time.
Yeah, and risk is like a huge, if someone's listening to this and they're like, am I an entrepreneur? Like, should I start a business? Or maybe they're already doing it and they want to give up and come work for me with the sales position. If you're not willing to take risk, like, being an entrepreneur is not for you. Like, you're never going to get to the level that you see people like Jimmy at and stuff, because you have to be willing to take risks. And it's not just like close your eyes, hope for the best risk. It's definitely a calculated risk, but there's no guarantees as a business owner. I mean, really hardly ever. There was no guarantee that you were going to be successful holiday lighting, landscape lighting, all this other stuff. Like, it takes grit, takes hard work. And there's always an element of financial risk, time risk, all these different things. That's why I'm such a stickler at like raising your price, charging premium, make as much money as possible, because you don't know. No one's guaranteed tomorrow. Like, things are going great for you, but like, what if tomorrow your team, there's big mutiny and they come in and like, we're out of here, like anything is possible. The chances of that are low because you talked about culture and all these other things, but there's always a risk. And if you're not willing to take risks, then entrepreneurship is probably not for you.
Yeah, and risks. We just had a training event last Friday and Saturday, and we do a lot of we don't talk about lights. We talk about a lot of other things like budgets and burn and all that sort of stuff. But and when we say risk, there's a lot of tools that help you the ability to make calculated risk. A risk isn't just let's go buy a $100,000 rig and truck and hope the money comes. Well, what do I have to do in order to pay for that $100,000 truck? So there's lots of tools and lots of resources, and Ryan does a fantastic job of that. And there's other coaches out there that work with that will really help minimize that risk, or at least set an expectation of what you got to get there. So I think there's a fine line between reckless risk and calculated risk, and that's just something that I think some people hear the word risk and are like, "Let's go, let's do it," and don't really put a whole lot of thought into it or what it's going to take or what they need to get out of it. And I think that's another thing that there are tools, there are resources. There's YouTube University, right? I mean, you can learn anything on YouTube, how to set a budget and stuff like that. And I think that stuff's big, and you just got to hold yourself accountable to those numbers, and it will pan out. It will. It's just you got to work towards that common goal.
So when did you decide that you want to be? Are you a distributor? What is Lights for Decorators? Let's talk about that. When did you start that business?
So Lights for Decorators has been around for 5 years now, but really only very active for the last 3. It's kind of weird how that one started too. Once again, that was zero intentions, but was reached out to by Holiday Bright Lights, who's a great partner of ours. We do a lot of work with them. Love all those guys over there, but they reached out and said, "Hey, we're looking for potentially somebody in the Southeast to be able to deliver our product quicker. Would you be open to a distribution?" I'm like, "Absolutely. Go pound sand. I have no idea what you're talking about. I install lights. I don't sell lights. I don't want to sell lights. I'm not a used car salesman." And kind of went away, fizzled. Then it came back and started thinking about it a little bit more. And a buddy of mine up in New York, Mike Kaplan, Holiday Lighting by Giannini, they've been distributors for years, and kind of always talked to him about it. It's like, "Man, really? Seriously?" And so he kind of is responsible for some of this problem I'm in now too. But between those two guys, they kind of opened my eyes, and I was like, "This kind of cool." And to be honest, I kind of got to the point where it's kind of somewhat stagnant in my role within the companies, and kind of wanted a different challenge. And then I started looking at it as, I'm not selling lights. We have the opportunity to help people's families and provide a business model. And when I started looking at it that way, I was like, this is cool. And I don't need to sell lights all over the United States. I don't need to sell lights to everybody and their brother. I want to take a market, and I want to dominate that market, and I want to be the best at what we do. And I want to not just sell them lights, but I want to sell them value through lights. And so that's really what our emphasis has been, is business training and coaching and mentoring. And it's all free. I don't want them. My mindset on it is, if they're successful and they're winning, we're going to be right behind them, supporting them through those wins. And so we've really done a great job of with our Sarasota, Florida location and our Raleigh, North Carolina location, really taking care of the Southeast really well. So all holiday lighting needs, holiday event lighting, from the actual products to the safety gear, all the way through. We're now carrying Dower. We're distributing for Dower, which we're really excited about that partnership and the quality of their product right now. So it's just wholesale. We don't do any retail. It's just B2B, and a lot of B2B support, giving them estimating tools, calculator guides, how-tos, what not to do's, all the way from their terms and conditions to their estimating to how to quote. We even give our clients an estimator tool of how to actually price a job and how many hours is it going to take, so they know how they're to manage it. So all that stuff we do free. We don't charge for any of it. It really gives me a lot of makes me feel good, because I've screwed up and I've been there, and I didn't have somebody like that in our corner. We had the John Deere landscapes, the site ones, right? Just jamming product down your throat, buy. And next thing you know, you got a whole building full of supplies you don't even need. So we're able to do this and not have guys carry a lot of stock, and they order by 2:00. it's on their doorstep the next day. So any order by 2 goes out that day. And for the most part, the whole Southeast is one day shipped from all of us, which is really cool.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, I hear nothing but good things from everybody, honestly, about what you're doing. And I got to come down there and help you teach a class. I guess it was a couple months ago. Check out your showroom. I mean, I'd seen it on Facebook and some videos and stuff that you put on, but it's incredible. You're showing off product. The stuff that you're teaching people was so valuable. And like, I can tell it's rewarding for you. You know, it's the same reason I teach. Like, of course, we're business people. Like, we're going to make money. We're going to support our team. Like, we're going to train them, give them raises and stuff like that. But there's something about teaching, coaching, whatever, mentoring, whatever you want to call it. It's like it's healing your past. You know, it's like, man, this is so cool. I just helped someone avoid like a $20,000 mistake in one conversation. That feels freaking good, you know.
It does. It does. And just the feedback you get after, I don't know, life's bigger than the dollar some days. And I mean, some of the stuff that I give away, it took me years to finally figure out. And why let people spin their tires? I mean, you don't have the time to do that right now. You know, life is rough. The streets are rough. Costs are high. You know, it's one thing to make those mistakes when you're a college student, you know, living at mom and dad's house. But when you're out in a profession, you got a wife and kids that you got to provide for. Don't have time to make those mistakes. So anything that we can cut out, man, it's huge, really huge.
Well, yeah, I love what you're doing. Let's talk about some of the products. I was kind of joking with you before about like, all right, what is special about Jimmy Tompkins? Why should people buy from Lights for Decorators? Because can't you just buy this stuff from anyone, right? And you're like, well, we've got actually something here. So, what are you most excited about this season? What's the latest, greatest product for holiday lighting right now?
So we got a lot of fun stuff up our sleeve. Sometimes it's the cheapest thing that we have, but it can make people's lives a game changer. But I would say probably one thing that I am most excited about, what should be arriving here any day now, is these bulbs here. I don't know. Let's see. These bulbs right here on this track bar. This is an RGB WW bulb. So last year we had an RGB bulb, which is still a great product. It's got some great functionalities. But one of the challenges with it was we couldn't get a true warm white. And this right here gives us a true warm white. And it also gives you all the effects of the RGB. So, you know, you get your red, and it's really hard to see this on the camera, but you get a true red, a true green, a true blue, and then you get all your different functionalities with it, you know, so you can flash your white in. But the big key here is being able to have this white. That's a true pure white, 2700 Kelvin. It's a game changer. I mean, it really is. It matches a 5mm set. This particular product, we got 3 channels on it now. So you can have one controller, which is a radio frequency controller, that literally you can do the roof line, go there, hit the button, roof line changes. The roof line behind me is our older RGB product that's kind of going back here, wherever it is. But this one, you know, you can go in, set some bushes one color, set the roof line another with one remote, not worry about channel interference and pollution of that. So, you know, it's really cool. It's got some red and green functionality to it, and a Valentine's mode and candy cane and Halloween. And then you got all the different functions with the flashes and the flash outs and all these different things. So I think it's a game changer. You put a warm white bulb in line, can't even tell the difference of which one's RGB and not.
Nice.
And really opens opportunities, you know, to really extend that season for the Halloween season. Of course, get them up early, have a purple mode or a green mode, and then quickly just walk back out, hit a button, and next thing you know, people are immediately on for Christmas. So I think that's really cool. And we got some sticky snaps that are allowing people to put C9 bulbs basically anywhere. Things that historically were places you couldn't get a magnet clip. There was no real way, like gutter guards and things like that. We now have a sticky snap that really revolutionizes the way you can decorate. And then, so just bringing stuff like that to the market that we see that we think is really of value. And at the end of the day, our job is to help contractors reduce service calls or prevent service calls and make them as efficient as possible. And, it's not all about just selling lights. It's what tools the trade can we get them to help them be efficient? Because if they're more efficient, what does that mean? They're putting up more lights. What does that mean? They're buying more lights. So, you know, and they're winning. You know, at the end of the day, it's winning. And so that's a product they're definitely really excited about. We got tons of stuff, a lot of big new commercial decor this year. That's really exciting. This whole RGB WW line, all sorts of different products, trees and snowflakes and stuff like that. That's really cool as well. So, yeah, almost too much products. Our catalog is 100 pages. And I don't think it shows like half of what stuff we have. So, it's a lot of fun though. It's a constant evolution. I love it.
Yeah, it's very cool. You know, holiday lighting is similar to landscape lighting, where people use it almost like as a flex. You know, people want to win like the best decorated house in their neighborhood and all that stuff. So it's crazy. Like you would think like, oh, they're just going to do like a roof line and some wreaths. But like some of these things that, you know, normally are reserved for commercial, like I'm just telling you guys, throw it out there, get with Jimmy and say, what is something special? What is it? One of these RGB trees? Is it a huge ornament? Whatever it is, throw it out there as an option to every single one of your clients. And you'll be surprised. It's just like fishing, different holes with different baits. Like you'll be surprised at what hits. And you could be leaving off the table a $50,000 deal or something like that, you know?
Yep. And then you just never know that client's going to take you. I mean, it's amazing. You know, we had, like I said, the training last week, and you know, a lot of pressure washing guys getting into it. Obviously, still a lot of landscapers, but just the opportunities that now they say, "Oh, I got the foot in the door on the low voltage or the Christmas lights." Now I'm gonna go get their low voltage landscape light. Oh, and now I'm gonna get them the pressure washing, and it really comes full circle. So it makes what you would think to be a client you're gonna see once a year. Oh no, you're gonna get them for everything they got because they're gonna love you as long as you treat them right. And likewise, like the landscape lighting, this stuff's intimidating. If you look at our catalog, you walk into this showroom, it's overwhelming. There's a lot of stuff going on, and you know, you might have a seizure too. But I mean, it's a lot. But you can literally get into this business and do 10 products.
Yep,
that's it. 10 products. Start simple, and then as you grow, you get more comfortable with stuff. You know, you can keep on rolling that up, and it can really, you know, you can go crazy. You can go nuts, and it's not uncommon. I got a guy down in Florida last night called me and said, "This lady wants to spend 20 grand." He's like, "I don't even know what to do." Well, figure out a way to spend 20 grand. If she wants to spend 20 grand, we can make it. We can find a way. So you never know, because it's keeping up with the Joneses. It's outdoing the neighbor, and you know, it's a lot of fun.
So the thing that I just can't stand about holiday lighting is the fact that you have to fit it in the short window, the stress, you know, all this stuff, right? And I'll always talk trash on the holiday lighting industry, but I do love.
That's okay. Some people shave their full face, not their half face, so that's okay.
Listen, people in Nashville are into weird things. I went out with a half beard. I kept the half beard the whole night, and people were like asking to take pictures with me. Chicks were flirting with me. I'm like, guys, you got to help me. My wife's not here. I need help. Like, I need my team with me. I was like, man, y'all are weird.
Yeah, I'm sure they were saying something similar.
Yeah, no, but they were into it. They were into it. That's what was weird. I'm like, this. But anyway, as much as I can't stand it, I love it. I absolutely love it, because like you said, like we would get introduced to someone and we do their holiday lighting. They always convert to a big ass landscape lighting job. Yep. And our landscape lighting clients always convert to holiday lighting. And then you get the referral and the next thing. And that's how momentum is built. You know, everyone's always worried about like that one job. It's like, man, what's the lifetime value of one client? The lifetime value of the client isn't just the $2,000 that they did for holiday lighting. Like it's what it's going to be the next year, the referral that they give you. It's going to be the additional business they give you for landscape lighting and all these different things. Like it's way bigger than most people think. And that's if they're utilizing the right systems, if they're doing a good job taking care of their client, they're following up, they're upselling, they're running a business like they're supposed to. So it's a love-hate relationship with me. I got to be honest.
No, you're right. It's funny when we start these trainings and these events, and I know we're going to have one late October down here in Raleigh, and there should be another one up in New York. The holiday lighting by Gene Eady's going to put on as well. I think it's October 27th. I'd have to date check that, but once we get back from Louisville from the Equip Expo. But one of the first things we got to start with is if you're chasing this for the money, you're in the wrong spot. You got to love the lights. You got to love to feed off the chaos because it's hard, it's heavy, it's needy. There's one bulb at the very top of the house out. You're going to get a call and you're going to get reached at until that one bulb is fixed. And you better be there within 24 hours or you're toast. So it's a very high demand. It's up for a short period of time. People are paying a premium. Heavy service. You got to have a team committed to the service side of it. And you got basically 56 days was a traditional year, and now people are starting to extend that into almost 90 days. People are installing already here. What is this, October 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever it is, I don't even know. Can't keep up anymore. But whatever the dates is, whatever it is, people install as early as September now. They're getting stuff up. And so it's what you can make out of it. It is chaos. It is stressful. It's long, hard hours, but it is very rewarding in the community, just bringing people happiness. And I always encourage people to do one free house a year, whether it's a kid with, cancer or a military family or someone that's just had a struggle. And I tell you, nothing feels better. In the back of our catalog, there's a picture of a little boy who was from that. And that little kid, sending me letters of thank you when he had a brain tumor. That stuff goes a long, long way and just makes you realize life's bigger than that check coming at them, the job. Embrace your community, support your community, give back to your community, and it'll propel you. And to your point, Christmas lights, the best time to market landscape lighting is when you pull the lights down. It doesn't matter if they already have lights. That house looks so dark once all these lights are down. And they're like, oh my gosh, my house looks terrible. It's so dark. Well, that's the same lighting system you had, but by the way, we can make it better for you. Would you like to see it? So it's a great transition in, and be amazing how many people jump on that. Actually,
Love it. So let's talk about the trainings that you do put on. Specifically, the one that I was down there with was awesome. The attendees were so engaged and there for the right reason, and they wanted to learn, and they were thirsty, and it was awesome.
It was awesome. Yeah. What makes those events is the people. Honestly, I mean, we're there to support it and pay for it and whatever. But at the end of the day, it's the people, man. And people that are coming and committed to come to that stuff, they're there for a reason. They want to get better and they ask the right questions. And we stuck Ryan in a nice little hole in the back room because we had so many people coming. So I think he lost 5 pounds of sweat that week.
I thought that was a closet. Was that a room?
Come on, man. That's a 4-person office down here. Come on. But we'll give them the big stage next year. But no, I mean it's the people make the events great. And it's not all about training. We could sit here and train and jam product down your throat. That's actually what we do in our boot camp, which is what we just finished up. The boot camps for people that have been in it, really done 1 year or 2 years, and kind of did a Mickey Mouse operation, but really ready to turn it on. So that's our boot camps. We typically do those this time of the year. So like I said, we just finished one up. We'll have one more boot camp late October. I think it's the 27th. I can double check that for you guys. But and then they're going to be doing another one up in Long Island the same exact day, actually, up there. And then the other events throughout the year, it's really, Holiday Dynamics, another one of our great companies that we work with. They do a networking event every year, which Ryan did attend actually as well. And it's basically no product. And it's a networking, it's hanging out, it's just chit chatting and enjoying each other that in the industry. And it's a fantastic event. And I've always taken a lot away from that event. So what we do is we kind of try to combine it, and it's not there again, just about lights. It's how to build a budget. It's how to understand what your burn rate is. It's the difference between margin and markup. We had one guy that we got to stay into the office till 2:00 in the morning, teaching the difference between margin and markup.
That was awesome.
And that was awesome, Clay. I'm sure you're listening, Clay.
Yes.
Hope you're doing well, buddy. Anyways, it's just, it's fun. It's a good mix. We go-karting. We went, what did we do in Raleigh?
Yeah, we went go-kart. I found out. I knew you were competitive because you were the cornhole champ at the Holiday Dynamics, and I mean, you leaned in. I mean, you went hard for that medal. So, but then, the real competitive Jimmy came out doing the go-karts, back to back races, trying to shave off, 0.01 seconds on lap times and stuff. That was a blast.
Yeah, we did that, and we did a downtown scavenger hunt that ended up in a barcade. We're playing arcade, drinks, bar. That night usually will end well, and it did. It was a great night. So try to do that in Florida. We did a beach party one night, and then we did a Dave & Buster's night down in Tampa. So, really just try to make it fun where people can share their experiences. I think the thing about our industry is we all got to work together. We're not competitors. If you're in the same city, you got to work together. We got, like Ryan mentioned, that's short window, that we got to get our lights done. We don't need people cutting each other's lights out. There's enough work for everybody. And so it's just a great opportunity for people that are doing it right to share the experiences, share where they've seen success. Marketing's a big part of it. What's working, what's not working. And, giving them the tools of the trade to be successful, having people like Ryan come in and teach the landscape lighting secrets to sales. I mean, if phenomenal. I mean, Ryan's great at this stuff. I'm terrible at this stuff. I know the X's and O's. Ryan has got that charismatic, and just having people like that can come in and actually make it a lot more fun than me just talking shop. Really makes it a good event, and looking forward to doing them again next year.
Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it. You did an amazing job getting people to be vulnerable and getting to know each other and developing those friendships that are going to last forever, literally.
Yep.
And then, I was blown away too, just like the stuff that you're teaching them. I'm like, no one's just teaching this stuff. And it's huge, because if they don't understand their numbers, they may love it now. They may be doing it for the right reason and be like, this is just awesome. And I'd love to see the look on my customer's face. But after 3, 4, or 5 years, it's going to get old, because they're like, man, I can't afford to pay the people what they want, and I can't do this, and I can't afford this. So I love that you and I are on the same page about the numbers, because, man, if you're going to be a business owner, you have to make a lot of money, and you can't feel guilty about it. You don't know there's no promise for tomorrow. There's all these different reasons, and you do a very good job explaining, like, not just the what to do, but how to do it, and the why, and all that stuff. So great.
I think a huge part of that's the scalability, and you deal with it a lot. I deal with it a ton. If you're a one-man shop, it's easy to make money. It really is, because it's you, it's your truck that you already have, it's your cell phone bill you already pay, but the scalability of that, as you add people, it's really scary. So, making sure you're budgeting in those people, and making sure you're leaving yourself in the holiday lighting business. If you sell a job and you put your cost of labor at zero because you're doing it, well, what happens when you hire that guy next year? You're going to perform that same job at $0? You can't do that. So, really understanding is this a scalable model? And you should be making an absolute exorbitant amount of money as an owner operator, because you're doing everything. You're the production manager, you're the sales guy, you're the grunt, you're the ladder carrier, you're the janitor, whatever you got to do, you're going to do it. And that point, it's how scalable is it? And I think that's a thing that Ryan and I know we both focus on is it scalable? Can I add a crew? Can I add another crew? And then do I have the ability to hire a production manager or a salesperson? And those are really hard things to forecast if you don't have anybody helping you. And that's what Ryan does a fantastic job with. And, I do an okay job with it, I suppose. We try. But
you do amazing. You just do it for free. That's all.
Yeah. Well, we do it for free because we're not on call. If you text me, don't expect me to text you back within 3 minutes, because, but we do it. And just because we don't have the time, we don't have the bandwidth to charge for it and to be able to commit to the clients that are paying for it. So could we charge for it? Yeah, probably. The calculator tools and estimating tools, those things are worth a ton of money, but it's all right. It's going to make their business more efficient. They're going to get more quotes out faster, and we're going to win together, and they're going to remember that.
It's a great model. Well, and the thing is, some people will hear you say that about scaling and like, well, I don't want to scale. I don't want to be the biggest. I don't want to be like, what would you say to them that are like, I don't want to be the biggest business in town. I don't want to scale.
Great. Just be the best. The scale, I guess.
How can you be the best and not scale?
So I guess the definition of scale is different, right? So to me, when I say scale, you have to be able to go on vacation with your wife and kids. You have to be able to get to your kids' games. You have to be able to be there in the times of need for your family. And if you are the everything and you wear that and you don't show up to work and no money is made, well, that's a direct hit to what I call your burn. And if you don't recoup that money, you're never going to get that money back. A day lost is a day lost. So you have to have production. You have to have sales go on if you can't be there. And you have to be able to take time away to go with your family or whatever it is. It's important. My 15-year-old son, who's my oldest, he's already gone. He's already moved out. And like, I'm sitting here looking like, holy smokes, he plays hockey. He's already gone. I've surrendered my last 3-4 years. And if I didn't take the time to do some of the stuff I've done with him over the years, I think I'd be really regretting it and not let him chase his opportunities. So I think scaling doesn't mean 100 people, doesn't mean 300 people. It gives you the opportunity to be a dad, to be a husband, to be whatever you are to other people. And you're not just tied to that company and being stuck there every day, all day, and having to wear every hat. So scaling is I don't know if that's my definition of it, but I think once you see that success, you see the opportunity and the way to just continue to photocopy, and then it becomes really easy.
Yeah.
But I think just getting over that one hump is big, and it opens up the opportunities to be more.
No, well said. I think it's the difference between owning a job and owning a business. When you are the solo guy, nothing wrong with it. We all start there, unless we have a rich uncle that says, "Here's $500,000. You want to start a business?" Right. But most of us don't have that. So we do own a job for the first few years, or the first 10 years in my experience. But eventually, you can be a business owner, and it's so much more rewarding. And again, I didn't have the most employees I ever had was, I think, 15. It doesn't mean you have to have a 100-person operation. You have to be the biggest, whatever, but you do have to scale to a certain point if you really want to be the best, because you can't be the best at answering the phone and responding to service calls and installation and design and books and all these other things. You just can't be the best if you own a job. So the sooner you can scale to that point of a small team, that's where the money's at. I mean, money in terms of that's when you get your freedom. You get to spend time with your family. You get to do the things that you want in your life, and your customers will thank you. Your customers will thank you for leveling up as well.
100%. It makes for a good work environment. If you're drowning yourself in the ditches, you're just angry, you're stressed, and that doesn't work out for anybody. So I do think, bigger is not better. I talked to a lot of people who've been here and they're here and they're here, all over the place. And, there is that sweet spot, and I think bigger is not always better, but best is the best. And your definition of best could be different than somebody else's definition of best. And I think there again, it goes back to role clarity, people owning their roles and embracing it. And you got to make sure, you got to know that they're on top of it, but you can't just give it to them and walk away. You got to be there to help them, coach them, look over their shoulder, poke a little bit, hold them accountable. That's big.
Love it. All right, man. Well, hey, listen, I appreciate you coming on here. If people want to reach out, they want to get in touch with you, find out about some of these future training events, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah. So website is lightsfordecorators.com. That is a wholesale site. So you do have to have login information and whatnot to be able to see pricing and availability, but typically go in there, put your information in, we'll get you approved pretty quick. We're trying to do a much better job with social media. I'm not the social guru like Ryan is and his team, but we're trying. We got some things in the works there, trying to do some more social media, but definitely on Instagram and Facebook. We're working hard to try to get that established and do some more there. So Lights for Decorators at both Instagram and Facebook. And then obviously reach out to the website, give us, fill out a little questionnaire. We'll add you to our mailing list. Keep you up to date on all the upcoming trainings and events and things that we're doing. And obviously feel free to reach out to us by phone. You reach out to me, I'll give you my cell phone. I give it to everybody. Always open. I know it's dangerous. Ryan probably hates it, but I'm here as your support group to help you get through. And if I don't have time to answer right then, I definitely will get back to you. So anything we can do to help, we're here to support you, and not just your holiday or landscape lighting, whatever your core business is, give you the tools to be successful.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Guys, you're crazy if you don't take Jimmy up on that offer. He's probably not going to offer his cell phone forever. We'll see. But right now,
I will. I promise you.
Okay.
I will. Mark
take
my
advantage-
word.
Yeah, take advantage of him now while he's hot and he's yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming on here, man. You guys reach out to Jimmy Tompkins, Lights for Decorators. Everyone have a great week.
Thanks so much, guys.